The NBA GM survey is out. Maybe some surprising information in there. Where does Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon rank? We'll find out next here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. It's so good to be here with you today. Yo, we have had some really interesting things that are happening in the Denver Nuggets sphere. We had the Nuggets play their first regular season game of the season. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But the NBA.com recently just put out its GM survey. Now, this comes out every single year. And every year, you get an opportunity to see who's doing what the perception is around the NBA players across the board. And today, we had an opportunity to see what the NBA so far thinks about the Denver Nuggets roster. Now, so far, the NBA released 100 to 51, and then 50 through 11. And they're going to give you the last 10 slots all at once. So right now, who that's on the Denver Nuggets roster fit through the first few slots. So I think a lot of people might not be super surprised, but the first Denver Nugget that makes the list on NBA.com in the GM rankings is actually Michael Porter Jr. Now, if you remember, Michael Porter Jr., because of the injury that he suffered the year prior, he hadn't played basketball in a while. He actually wasn't anywhere to be found, at least high on the list earlier, because again, there was a point in time where Michael Porter Jr. could have been considered a top 50-ish player. But then because of his injury, he slid back. But the NBA has him at the 68th ranked player coming into the season. Now, the marker on him in terms of what is being written about Porter says that Porter struggled with the shot in the NBA Finals, shooting just 14.3% from behind the arc. But he did come up big in the Nuggets title clincher with 16 points and 13 rebounds. Understanding what it takes to win a title, can Porter improve defensively and find ways to impact game when his shot isn't falling like he did in Game 5? Now, listen to this. Some of the other players that are hanging around Michael Porter Jr., you got Brook Lopez at 69, OG Anunoby at 67, Austin Reeves at 66, Miles Turner at 65, Rudy Gobert, who previously was 18, fell to 64, and then you had Scotty Barnes, who previously was 39, who fell to 63. And then you got Kristaps Porzingis at 62 and Desmond Bane at 61. Now, I think it's fair to say that you think Michael Porter Jr. is within the range of some of these players. But I would actually argue that Michael Porter Jr. is a better player than Austin Reeves. I understand that Austin Reeves, obviously, playing with the Lakers, had a good run in the Western Conference Final, played well as a role player, playing for Team USA. But I think Porter has solidified that not only is he one of the best offensive players in basketball, but in a playoff setting, when it comes to winning championship-level basketball, he was able to do good enough playing one-on-one matchups versus the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards or Kyle Anderson or Mike Conley, or playing in the post versus Karl Anthony Towns. He was versatile enough to play against Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul at times, and even having to be weak side rotation against players like DeAndre Ayton. He was also good enough to have to step out on LeBron at times, have to help off of Anthony Davis, have to guard Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, or even Rui Hachimura. And then obviously in the NBA Finals, we have data. We have seen him play Jimmy Butler. We watched him play versus Caleb Martin, slapping the ball off the backboard. So there is a perception around Porter, I think somewhat because of the he only shot 14% in the NBA Finals from three. But before that, he was shooting over 40% in the playoff run, basically. And then on top of that, over the course of the season, he was shooting over 40% from three as well. And Porter has demonstrated that as he's gotten healthier, as he's gotten more used to his body, his ability to slash, to get to the rim, to make really timely cuts and really timely execution on dunks, all that stuff has really aided Porter to becoming a really valuable championship level role player. Now, again, do you want him to work on his playmaking? Do you want him to work on his ball handling? Do you want him to work on his defensive consistency? Absolutely. But even with that, Porter is able to do certain things that demonstrate his ability to rise to the occasion in more ways than one. So Michael Porter Jr. listed as the 68th ranked player in the NBA. What do y'all think about that? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think Porter should be higher on this list? Up next, according to NBA GMs, Aaron Gordon is the 51st ranked player in the NBA. Now, this is the one that I think for sure I can push back against. I think that Aaron Gordon displayed that he's one of the most durable, one of the most interchangeable defenders in the NBA. He's one of the most consistently good defenders in the NBA. The way he was able, now again, granted, he was in the 2022 season, they had him at 83, and then he was able to climb all the way up to 51 on this list. So again, jumping 32 spots is no small feat. But Aaron Gordon, as it says, one huge question for 2023 for 2024, often overshadowed by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Gordon finished the finals with a plus 61 plus minus, tied for seventh best since the start of the play-by-play tracking in 96-97, the years 1996-97. With key player Bruce Brown gone, could Gordon see an uptick in opportunities? Gordon showed what he can do is he is a focal point with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in Game 4 of the finals against Miami. Now, here's the thing. Gordon, absolutely to me, should be higher on this list. I think the fact that Gordon was able to show and display that when push came to shove, there are not many players that you could ask in the NBA to be able to guard Anthony Edwards, Karl Towns, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, LeBron, AD, Jimmy, Bam, Caleb, Duncan, Kyle Lowry, don't matter. The player at 27 years old that's 6'8", able to accomplish so many different kinds of things defensively, plus being a plus offensive player, all that stuff lends itself to Aaron Gordon having a truly special kind of a game that allows him to thrive and play in ways that a lot of players can't. And I think that the players ahead of him, like Jared Allen, good as he is, DeAndre Ayton, no, absolutely not. LaMelo Ball, Victor Wembanyama hasn't played a lick of NBA basketball yet. Even players like Chris Middleton, Julius Randle in a playoff setting. I do think that especially players like Victor Wembanyama haven't played yet. Players like even LaMelo Ball, especially this last season, DeAndre Ayton, Jared Allen. I do think that Aaron Gordon should be in the 40s somewhere, and I would definitely have him somewhere above those players like that. So that's from 50 to 100. So the NBA basically says that the Denver Nuggets, if you look at their roster, their third and fourth best player are the 51st best player in the NBA and then the 68th best player in the NBA. But where does Jamal Murray rank? So, as you know, Jamal Murray in 2022, coming into the season, was ranked the 50th. So one spot of where Aaron Gordon is right now and right where Jared Allen is, he was the 50th ranked player in the NBA. The NBA GMs, all 30 voted, the NBA GMs came out and said that, rather the ESPN.com writers, my fault, actually came out and said that he is the 17th best player in the NBA. So Bubble Murray, as it says, was no fluke. After sitting out the entire 2021-2022 season with an ACL injury, Murray showed why he's one of the game's best when fully healthy, averaging 26.1, 7.1 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 39.6% shooting from 3 in 20 postseason games throughout the Denver's first title. Why he could exceed his ranking. Nuggets coach Michael Malone has challenged his point guard to build from his postseason tear and become a first-time All-Star and a first-time All-NBA selection. If he does that, his rise through these rankings will continue. So that's the special thing about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has shown and proven that when push comes to shove, he is able to elevate his game to a place most of the people couldn't imagine to do so. And that's what makes him special. His ability to elevate his play from a regular season setting, 24 and 5 averages, the 26, 7 and 5 on 39% from 3 and 90% from the line. Jamal Murray really has excelled. So Again, so far, we have not gotten to the top 10. You presume that Nikola Jokic will be in that top 10. But the Denver Nuggets core four, 68 for Michael Porter Jr., you have 51 for Aaron Gordon. And then for Jamal Murray, you have him ranked as the 17th best player in the NBA. Yo, when we get back, we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets' first preseason game. And we're going to talk about some of the things that we saw that stand out and really give us some insight on just how good the Denver Nuggets could possibly be this upcoming season. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. So, FanDuel, y'all, if y'all don't have the FanDuel app, I'm telling y'all right now, if you like sports betting, you want to get in on this action, I'm telling you, FanDuel is the place to be. I use FanDuel all the time. I do my NFL betting there. I do my future bets for the NBA on FanDuel as well. You can snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-under, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and kick off the NFL season. Yo, telling y'all, if you enjoy your NFL bet, this is the app to get into. I love it. Can't wait. So we're back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets, and now it's time to tap in to the Denver Nuggets preseason game 1. Now, I'm not going to hold y'all. Matt did an incredible episode yesterday. Got a real opportunity to tap into some of the great storyline. But y'all, I was floored with what I saw from a couple of Denver Nuggets yesterday. So first off, as you know, the Denver Nuggets won 115 to 107. But what stood out to me is that when the bench stepped into the game, the starters got the lead. You know, Jokic played 18 minutes, Jamal played 18 minutes. You had Justin Holiday played 19, Caldwell played 18, Gordon 13. So the onus was left on the bench to not only sustain the win, but secure the win. And so you had to rely on a lot of your young guys in order to get the job done. And y'all, yesterday, the first person that you know that jumped out was Julian Strawther. Now, it was obviously for jokes, but if you go to my Twitter, I put a picture of a rookie year version of Devin Booker and this year's version of Julian Strawther, because Julian, this game, I think he had an 83% true shooting percentage, shot 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, and 4 of 5 from the 2. His ability, and again, if you saw on my channel yesterday on the Swiper channel, his ability to get to the empty side pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton, his ability to snake, and hit his floater. He got into the mid-range area, working inside the paint, floater. And then he is cash money as a spot-out shooter. And even off the dribble, he got Drew Eubanks on an island at one point in time, and I believe, and was able to heady tween, little step back, nice little three-pointer. And you could already tell that the way he will be able to work in with the Denver Nuggets roster, I think it's going to be really special. So as we talked about in the first segment, if the Denver Nuggets have the 68th, the 51st, and the 17th best player, and presumably another top 10 player in Joker, you need players that you can build around there, the tertiary parts that make up the whole. I think obviously KCP is an excellent addition to this team. He's one of the best role players in the league, best screen navigators, defenders, POA attackers, and even help side defenders as a guard. And good, he even has good post defense for a guard. And he's obviously one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And he actually gets to the mid-range at a decent level as well. Also a good cutter. But then Christian Brown, basically going to be their sixth starter this year. Having Christian Brown, maybe even being a Peyton Watson in the guaranteed rotation. And then if you can get Peyton, Christian, Zeke Naji, Julian Strawther, and Justin Holiday, then with that kind of lineup versatility, plus maybe Hunter Tyson, and then obviously Reggie Jackson in there, you'll have so much versatility because Reggie Jackson is 6'4", 6'3". Peyton Watson is 6'7", 6'8". Christian Brown is 6'6" solid. You got Zeke Naji, a 6'11" center / power forward, but a center on this roster. Justin Holiday, 6'6". Julian, about a 6'5", 6'6" frame, and he's one of the best shooters to come out of college. And he has a pro level game. Like the way that he was able to control his pace, he wasn't overshooting, he wasn't over dribbling. And again, credit to Gonzaga, the fact that they were able to coach him up to be this good, this early, to be this efficient with his game is huge. But the fact that Julian was able to navigate the defense and navigate getting into his spot, whether it's the three-pointer or even he drove to the middle, he had a kick out. He had a kick out to Julian. Julian is waiting there on the wing, and Julian rotates from the corner up to the right wing because he knows the ball could have to come out. And when it comes out, there needs to be a passing lane, and he needs to make sure he's available and even working to his spot. If he's able to do that with Jamal, Jokic, and Aaron Gordon, this is one of my things. What even would a lineup look like if the Nuggets decide, we want to be able to go all shooting? Jokic, Porter Jr. at the 4. We want to put KCP at the 3, Julian Strawther at the 2, Jamal Murray at the 1. Now, it will be rare, if ever, they do something like that. But I think having Julian, it gets you such a different kind of feel. And if you got Julian, Michael, Jamal, Jokic, KCP, you just have guaranteed shooters you do not want to leave open. And it just changes the foundation of the offense. So really, truly shout out to Julian Strawther. Again, 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. I thought Zeke Naji had a really good game yesterday, 17 points and 6 rebounds on 5 of 8 shooting. He was 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He was a plus 11. Again, big year for Zeke Naji, contract year for Zeke Naji. Zeke has all of the tools in the world to be a successful rotational big in this league and maybe even to be a starting level big. But Zeke has to play physical, has to be consistent, has to trust his shot, has to stay healthy. But again, his ability to be a switch 5 in any situation, it just helps so much. So when you put the bench, so whether it's Jamal and Christian Brown and Peyton Watson and Justin Holiday, or they got Julian Strawther, and having Zeke Naji in there, he gives you good size plus the ability to step out on the guard. And if you don't want to play drop versus somebody, you can get a good switch in there. And Zeke Naji had a really solid game, showing some potential. Peyton Watson as well. Peyton Watson had 10 points and 3 rebounds. Now, he did foul out yesterday with 6 fouls, had a tremendous help side block, weak side protection, where he was the second Nuggets defender over, was still able to get up high enough to swat the ball out of bounds. I've been very high on Peyton Watson since last year. I think a player with those kind of measurables, they will end up being good NBA players. Calvin Booth talks about his IQ. During media day, I was able to ask Peyton Watson about what it means for him that players like Kevin Durant and Paul George speak so highly of him already in his career. And I think he really cares about basketball. He wants to be a solid rotational player. He wants to be a player that the Denver Nuggets can trust in any situation. So I think him, Zeke, Julian were my really big standouts yesterday of the non-starters. The starters are what they are. Gordon, Jokic, Porter didn't play, but Gordon, Jokic, Porter, Aaron, Nikola Jokic, KCP, you expect them to go be great. And they will be great come regular season. But what you want to see is that the bench can pick up from where they left off in the playoffs. Not in the regular season, but in the playoffs. And so I think yesterday was a really, really good start for the Denver Nuggets, especially given the fact that last season, the Denver Nuggets were one of the worst benches in the league. But this is what I'll say. Having the ability to be able to maneuver different lineup variations is going to be so critical, because what it does, it allows for them to have so many different play styles available. Again, you remember game 2 of the second round versus the Phoenix Suns, 97-87 score. Why did they win? Because they can get gritty with anybody. The NBA Finals, the Denver Nuggets did not give up, I think, 100 points. What was it, 104 points in any game of that series. So the fact that they're able to do that and to be able to play a very physical defensive style of play, but then on top of that, to be able to play a high, very fast, high-scoring game, all that lends itself to them being able to do what they want and to control the pace as much as they want as well. So I really love what the Denver Nuggets were able to do. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I was correct. The Denver Nuggets, over the course of that series, gave up over 100 points just one time when they gave up 111, and then they gave up 93, 94, 95, and then 89 points. So again, just goes to show you that like they're looking for a particular play style. They want to have a lot of variance that they can do as well. So y'all, when we get to segment 3, we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets core. Do they have the best core, meaning their top 4 and their young assets all together? Do they have the best core in the NBA? We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. So we're back with Locked On Nuggets, and this is your boy Swiper here. We are talking about your Denver Nuggets after their first preseason game and preseason win of the year. We have some great comments in the chat. Opening night is here, then less than 2 weeks. First ring night in Denver Nuggets history, first banner night in Denver Nuggets history, and it's even sweeter to be doing it in front of the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be a wonderful experience, y'all. But here's the thing. If you look at when you go back to the ESPN rankings, and I said earlier it was the GM ranking that I misspoke. So it was the ESPN rankings. The NBA.com did put a survey out where they talked about the Denver Nuggets players and the Denver Nuggets team and chances to win the title. The Nuggets had the second, well, they were tied with first for the best chances to win an NBA title. They also had Jokic voted as the most likely to win an MVP. The best international player went to somebody else, but it was just kind of a crazy mix of things. But when you put the ESPN rankings together, you saw something interesting. The Suns, their big 3, was ranked higher than the Denver Nuggets. The Bucks' big 3 was ranked higher than the Denver Nuggets. You saw some 2-man game that would be ranked higher than the Denver Nuggets. So what's interesting with all this is that the Nuggets seemingly have the cohesion that seems to be better than any other team in the league. And everybody kind of gives itself to that. So when you hear people talk about the Nuggets, yeah, they might have the best starting 5 in basketball, but we don't know what their bench is going to look like now that they lost Bruce Brown. But I think the thing about it is that even without Bruce Brown, if you have Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, Zeke Naji, and then having Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett, and then Hunter Tyson and the rest of that bench, do the Nuggets have the best full core in the league? And I would argue that it's very hard for me to see a team that has the top-end talent like it does, which I think the best player in the world, with the best 2-man game in the world, and also having 2 6'8" and 6'10" wings surrounding the roster. They have so much portability in that they can do anything that they need to do on a nightly basis to win a game. But then on top of that, their ability to play more physical than you, to play at the rim, and to shoot the 3 ball, it's not unlike anybody else in the league. And on top of that, defensively, they have shown that they can anchor one of the best defenses in a playoff setting as well. And so if you want to get into a nip and tuck battle with them, we can do it. If you want to get into a grindhouse game with them, they can do it. If you want to get into a fast scoring game with them, they can do it. But again, I look at teams like the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Drew Holiday, really, really solid 5, really, really solid top 6, and really solid top 7. They're going to be able to throw so much at teams, obviously including Al Horford. Pritchard just got another deal with the Celtics and such as well. They're going to have one of the best starting 5s in basketball, period. So there's a lot that they can offer. There's a lot that they can throw at you. And Derek White also is another top 6 in the NBA as well. And then when you look at the Suns, you get a chance to see they're going to have Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Josh Okogie more than likely, Yusuf Nurkic. And then on top of that, you're going to have your Yuta Watanabes. You're going to have your Nasir Littles. You're going to have your Eric Gordons. Then you're going to have your Keita Bates-Diop. Like, they have a nice, good, solid core, really good top-end talent. But the thing about the Suns is, even for me, the Suns, they're going to have an elite offense. They're going to do a lot of really good things well. But, I did another episode today on the Swiper platform with Jason Temp, and we talked about the host of Hoop Tonight. We talked about the Suns. The Suns are so reliant on pull-up shooting that if they have to get to the rim, and defensively, if they have to buck up and lean into you, they don't have the same kind of personnel I think the Nuggets do, which is going to be the Nuggets' advantage, that they can score at the rim and at the 3 as well as almost anybody. I look at a team like the Boston Celtics, obviously, like the Suns. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are another team obviously with Damian Lillard now, Pat Connaughton, with, more than likely Marjon Beauchamp, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis. Again, a really, really solid roster. But the two big lineups, not really any POA defense to speak of for real. I think they're going to have some lapses and stuff in there as well. Obviously, the Miami Heat now, no Gabe Vincent, no Max Strus. They got Josh Richardson. They got Jaime. They just got as a rookie. They have some players, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry. They have players coming off their bench and some that are going to enter into the starting lineup. But even with that, if I'm evaluating the Denver Nuggets core, the Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Torian Prince, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, and then Christian Wood, and then Max Christie. So even that, you can say really, really strong core. But even then, there's still clear weaknesses they have, especially in their half-court offense, late-game execution, late-game shooting. And then even defensively, while their ceiling is really high, we saw if you play a team like the Denver Nuggets, able to pull AD away from the rim, able to really play a lot of 4-out or 5-out options, you can take advantage of their personnel as well. So I would say that among all the teams that are contending, I think that the Nuggets have questions about the bench because you don't know young guys like Peyton, second year, Christian, second year, Julian, first year, Zeke, fourth year, those four players especially, and then Reggie Jackson stepping back into 2020, 2021 mode. Yeah, you absolutely have questions about if they can do it. But from a chemistry standpoint, especially having Michael Malone in this system since when he got here in 2014, it's just there's going to be so many options that they have, and they have proven they can play at any level. And I think Jokic reaches a level as a player I don't think anybody else in the league can reach at this point in time because, again, there's nobody that's going to out-execute down the stretch. Higher IQ, plus the shot making, plus the playmaking, plus the passing, plus the vision. And even as his defensive rebounding and his ability as a drop coverage defender, playing that pick and roll or playing up at the level, again, 0.74 points per possession in the playoff last year as a pick and roll big, which was exceptional. So if you put all this together, people have questions about individual players because Porter is non-passing and might miss his shots every so often. But there's no question about Michael Porter Jr.'s value next to Jokic, Gordon, and Murray and KCP, or KCP's fit with this roster and the rest of the team. I really don't think that there's much question. I think the Pelicans, even having Zion and Ingram and Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and CJ McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas and Dyson Daniels, really talented, young, but not necessarily a team that's proven. The Memphis Grizzlies, not proven. They don't have the top-end talent. The Kings, not proven. They don't have the top-end talent. So that's why whenever I hear people talk about the Denver Nuggets title chances, yes, it's going to be hard to repeat. Yes, you got to have fortune on your side. Got to stay healthy. But if you're asking me going into the season, what core do I trust the most? I think it's going to be the Denver Nuggets. So I'm really excited for this season. I'm so excited because you get a chance to see a revamped Lakers team that's starting off the season fully together. You're going to see Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal playing with each other. And then you get a chance to see the Kings year 2 of the Mike Brown experiment. The Memphis Grizzlies, what can you get done with the first 25 games of Ja Morant? The Clippers are going to have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George back. They're going to have Russell Westbrook on the roster, who was a clear plus for them when he joined that team. And then in the rest of the Western Conference, what does Golden State do? Draymond, CP3, around Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson. So many storylines. Eastern Conference with Damian Lillard and obviously now Drew Holiday going to the Boston Celtics. The 76ers, do they keep Harden? It's just the year Embiid figures it out and he's able to turn it around in the playoffs. As Tyrese Maxey take a leap from a very good borderline all-star to a clear all-star player next season. So many different questions, so many things to figure out. But guess what? You can be tuned in right here at Locked On Nuggets, and we're going to talk about it all. The Denver Nuggets have another preseason game coming up here soon, so a lot of stuff to tap into. But I am so excited for this upcoming season. I know you should be as well. Again, repeating is hard, but when you have the core that the Denver Nuggets do, you have the top-end talent that they do, and I believe the best core and solidified starting five in the NBA with the coach they have, they can get it done. But y'all, that's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. If you've seen this episode, this is the Thursday episode. We have another one coming out Friday. Should be myself and Adam Montes from DNVR. Hey, y'all know what time it is. We'll see y'all soon. We out.